Is the United States truly united, or is it a house divided? Let's take a moment to ponder on this question. The United States, a country with a rich tapestry of diversity, has always been a melting pot of varied ideologies and beliefs. But it seems in recent years the political landscape has become more like a chessboard, clearly divided into black and white squares. This division is not merely a matter of different political affiliations, it's a stark contrast in ideologies, a chasm of beliefs that separates the two major political parties, the Democrats and the Republicans. On one side of the aisle we have the Democrats, who are generally progressive in their approach, advocating for social justice, environmental protection, and universal health care. On the other side, we have the Republicans, traditionally conservative, emphasizing individual liberties, economic freedom, and a limited role for government. This divide is not a new phenomenon. It has been simmering and evolving over time, shaped by historical events, demographic shifts, and changing societal norms. But it seems to have reached a fever pitch in recent years, fueling intense political polarization. This polarization has permeated all aspects of society, from social media feeds to dinner table conversations, from policy debates in Congress to judicial decisions in courts. In the midst of this polarized landscape stands the Biden administration, tasked with the daunting job of leading the nation forward. Yet every step it takes is met with resistance from one side or the other. Every policy it proposes is subject to intense scrutiny and fierce debate. In this checkerboard of oppositions, the Biden administration has to play a game of chess, where it must navigate the challenges with strategic moves and careful planning. It must find common ground, foster cooperation, and bridge the divide to bring about meaningful change. The question then arises, can the Biden administration unite this divided house? Can it overcome the challenges that this polarized landscape presents? In such a divided landscape, the Biden administration faces an uphill battle. As the 46th president, Biden's domestic challenges are manifold and complex. This era of rapid change and global dynamics has brought forth a myriad of issues that demand immediate attention and decisive action. First and foremost, the pandemic. It's a public health crisis unlike any we've seen in a century, profoundly impacting every aspect of American life. From healthcare to education, from the economy to our daily routines, its ripple effects continue to be felt across the nation. The Biden administration faces the daunting task of not only managing the immediate crisis, but also planning for long-term recovery. Alongside the pandemic, the economy presents a significant challenge. Millions of Americans are out of work, businesses are struggling, and the economic disparity has widened. The administration is tasked with the Herculean job of rebuilding and revitalizing the economy, ensuring it's inclusive and benefits all, not just the privileged few. Then there's the long-standing issue of racial inequality. Recent events have brought this issue to the forefront of the national conversation. The administration must address systemic racism, promote social justice, and ensure equal opportunities for all Americans regardless of their race or ethnicity. Immigration is another contentious issue. Striking a balance between national security and humanitarian considerations is a tightrope walk, but one the Biden administration must navigate to reform the immigration system and provide a path to citizenship for millions. Lastly, climate change. It's a global crisis that's showing up at our doorsteps. Wildfires, hurricanes, droughts. The effects are tangible and terrifying. The administration's challenge is to take decisive action towards a sustainable future, while dealing with the immediate threats and consequences. These domestic challenges are a daunting task for any administration, and the Biden administration is no exception. Each issue is complex in its own right, requiring nuanced understanding, strategic planning, and effective execution. As we move forward, it's crucial to remember that the success of any administration lies in its ability to navigate these challenges and create a better future for all. Beyond the borders of the United States, the Biden administration faces a complex web of international relations and global dynamics. As we shift our gaze outward, we see a world where the American eagle is closely watched. The Biden administration's dealings with China and Russia are a delicate dance on the global stage. China, a rising power, presents both an economic competitor and a vital trade partner. Balancing the push and pull of economic interdependence and geopolitical rivalry is no easy feat. Meanwhile, Russia, an old adversary, continues to challenge American influence in various regions of the world. the Biden administration faces the task of addressing Russia's cyber warfare and territorial ambitions while seeking areas of potential cooperation, such as arms control. Then there's the Middle East, a region that has been a crucible for American foreign policy for decades. The ongoing peace process requires a careful balancing act. The Biden administration must navigate the complex interplay of regional powers, historical grievances, and the aspirations of diverse peoples, all while maintaining America's strategic interests. And let's not forget the pressing issue of climate change. The United States, as one of the world's largest greenhouse gas emitters, has a crucial role to play in global climate change initiatives. The Biden administration has re-entered the Paris Agreement, signaling a commitment to international cooperation in tackling this existential threat. However, turning commitments into action is a challenge that transcends borders and political terms. In each of these arenas, the Biden administration faces a delicate balancing act. It must assert American interests and values, foster cooperation where possible, and confront adversaries where necessary. These are not just policy decisions, they are strategic choices that will shape the world our children will inherit. In the global arena, the Biden administration's challenges are just as complex and pressing as those on the home front. Faced with these challenges, how is the Biden administration navigating this political battlefield? As we examine the Biden administration's approach to these complex issues, it's clear that strategy, policy, and initiative are at the core. Let's unpack this a bit, shall we? Firstly, on the domestic front, the administration is taking a two-pronged approach. They're focusing on immediate relief, think pandemic response and economic recovery, while also setting their sights on long-term goals, including infrastructure development, climate change, and social equity. It's a balancing act, addressing the urgent while not losing sight of the important. In terms of international relations, the Biden administration is aiming to restore global alliances and re-establish the United States as a leader on the world stage. They're moving away from the America First policy of the past, instead embracing a more collaborative approach. They're reaching out to allies, rejoining international agreements, and leading initiatives on global issues like climate change and public health. It's not just about what they're doing, but also how they're doing it. The administration is leveraging diplomacy, negotiation, and partnership building. They're focusing on dialogue and cooperation rather than confrontation and unilateral action. It's a shift in tone and tactic that's being felt both at home and abroad. And what about the impact? Well, it's early days still, but there are signs of progress. The economy is showing signs of recovery, vaccine rollouts are accelerating, and there's a renewed sense of hope and optimism. On the global front, America's standing is improving, and there's a sense that the country is getting back on track. Of course, it's not all smooth sailing. There are still many obstacles and challenges ahead, but the Biden administration is showing a willingness to face them head-on, to learn from mistakes, and to adjust course as necessary. The Biden administration's approach is a testament to their commitment to tackle these challenges head-on. It's a journey, a process, and while the destination is clear, the path to get there is being charted one step at a time. As we move forward, what does the future hold for the Biden administration? It's a question that lingers in the minds of many, as the administration grapples with a series of complex issues on both domestic and international fronts. In the heart of this political battlefield, the Biden administration is faced with a multifaceted war. A war against time, as it tries to reconcile the nation's divided house and navigate the intricacies of domestic policies. A war against global dynamics that continue to shift and evolve, testing the resilience and adaptability of international relations. These challenges are not just battles to be won, but they are opportunities for growth and evolution. They are the crucibles that will forge the future of the United States, shaping its place in the world and its vision for its citizens. In this era of rapid change, the Biden administration's approach is one of resilience and determination. It's an approach that seeks to balance the scales of justice, to restore trust in the institutions of governance, and to ensure that the American dream remains within reach for all who call this nation home. The war ahead is not an easy one, but it's a war that must be fought. The stakes are high, the challenges are complex, but the resilience of a nation, the spirit of its people, and the leadership of those at its helm are the pillars that will hold firm amidst the storm. As we look towards the horizon, we see a future that is uncertain but filled with potential. A future where the United States continues to be a beacon of hope, a bastion of democracy, and a leader in a world that is more interconnected and interdependent than ever before. In the face of these challenges, the Biden administration continues to navigate the political battlefield, shaping the future of the United States. We watch, we wait, and we hope as the war ahead unfolds.